Aha! Welcome everyone! Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those of you who might be wondering what this is, well, this is Dungeons and Dragons, or more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if this is not something you want to watch, too bad, we started, and we're not planning on changing this week or the week after, or and so on. So either you suddenly have a taste for it, or I'm sure there's something live playing right now, so just go there. But if you're staying, or if you're back from a previous session because you actually liked us, well, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Or if you're new and it's just because someone told you, hey, go watch them, they're kind of nice. They're fun to laugh at. Sorry, I meant laugh off their jokes. Go ahead, it's going to be fun. No matter who you are, if you're here, if you're planning on staying, and you're not planning on trying to sell... I don't want to say it, but good lord, it just goes back to what we were saying just before stream. To Chinese sexual worker, so long as you don't plan on posting these posts here or on the YouTube, you're welcome. You can even be someone who owns this, as long as you don't post it, And also people trying to sell followers. Speaking of, we've just reached our 50 followers.
Hey.
We're gonna start trying to earn something out of this. Unless someone left the channel in the last hour, we're at 50 followers. And probably what I'm going to do is follow the advice of a friend of mine who actually tried watching this and told me, hey, why aren't you doing these broadcasts sooner? It's a bit late for me. So I'm going to take his advice and probably do a rebroadcast at a earlier hour, probably on either Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure. So it's going to be favoring those of us who live in the eastern part of the North American continent. Well, if you look at the map, the world map, it would be just the American continent, because there's more of it that is on the east than on the west. I digress. So it's probably going to be something like that, a rebroadcast schedule for those of you who want to watch it live at a better hour. The difference is that I'm actually going to be watching the chat while this happens during the rebroadcast, because I'm not actually going to be there telling the players what happens. So if you want to say something, I'll actually be there reading your comments, good or bad. Yeah, that's about the biggest news we have for this week. As always, before we start, a little thank you to Chaotic Calling, who usually raids us within the first half an hour of the stream, sometimes 45 minutes. If not, they always have a few members that watches us. Kearney City Guild, who lets us post on their Discord to find new people to watch. And Ambient Mixer, where I make all of the music and ambience that you'll hear. Right now, we only have 3, so maybe you won't hear any today, but they're there. If there's battle, you're gonna hear some. And if our party finds itself camping outside, you might hear one. Unfortunately, I was trying to finish the one for taverns and inn, but I didn't manage to finish in time. So, right now we have 3. And if you want to know who all of these places that I've mentioned are, they're all in the panels below, if you're watching this on Twitch. Special thanks. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description below. And I think that's everything that I needed to say. So, without further delay, let's start. Roll the introduction. That's right, we don't have one yet. let's just keep going. I'm after the music. This is the next thing I'm trying to make, a proper cinematic introduction with my limited talents. But for now, that was the introduction. Yay! How interesting! How incredible! Ooh. Sorry. So let's get into it. So, during the last few episodes, the party had finally managed to settle off all of their quests, and then when they got back to the garden, they realized that there was a call to arms to all available adventure. One of the adventurer of the garden had finished most of our scouting missions and actually managed to find where the new temple base of operation, somewhere in between all these sorry, I am so thirsty, I don't know why. Let's hope this is better. Alright, so she had learned that their new temple or new base was somewhere in the mountains. She had found the place, more exactly where it was, where she always found trouble. So she asked for help, and a large portion of the adventurers answered the call, including our 4 adventurers. They have been walking for 2 days now. On the first day, they were teased by a god. On the second day, they all found new masters and were given the last chance to buy whatever equipment, spell regent, and anything else they thought they would need in the mountains. And they all ended their day after a day of training with their new masters. And so this is where we all rejoin them next morning, as the day suddenly starts. Everything is... Forgot to take out my dice. Everything is... windy and rainy, apparently. And unseasonably cold outside. Really unseasonably cold. So, as you all wake up after a good night of rest, Jorg, you spent the night out in Sarn's druidic version of a Leomund's tiny hut, cast as a ritual. You got to see something a little bit strange. A slab of earth just rise up from the ground and start floating outside of the fairy ring that Sarn had just created. During the night, you realized that your visibility range wasn't that great inside this fairy ring. After maybe 10 feet, you start noticing that there's fog outside, making it difficult to see beyond 50 feet. Which makes you suspect that maybe this fairy ring isn't actually in the same shard plane of existence, for those who prefer D&D terms. Same shard as your normal plane of existence. You're somewhere in between two, or maybe on a completely different one. But you spent the night with the smell of pine and spruce, and surrounded by, and I didn't put up all of their name, Sarn, Nia, and since I don't have the name up, someone else that I'll probably regret not taking a few more seconds finding. But you spend the night with those people. Alright. Audience and Remy, you both found your way into an inn, cozy, comfortable. Took a little bit of time. Get to know your new masters a little bit. Remy, traveling with Gamtesh. An Audience with Corinth. And Fisher, where exactly did you spend the night? How did you exactly spend the night?
At the end of last session, I was sleeping in the fairy circle.
Fairy circle. That's you're the other person that I was trying to find.
You were actually sleeping, weren't you?
Why?
Yeah, because Sarn
Why didn't you say
called
anything?
me out.
I knew there was.
Sometimes Fisher just likes to see people sweat. It's a phenomenon that he's always been interested in, but glad he doesn't do himself.
Yeah, it's always weird. People losing water like this doesn't seem very efficient. All right, so Fisher, you
Played soccer with Dre. That's not true.
Good one.
Oh.
The library is now open.
So, Fisher, you realize the exact same thing as Jorg after a few moments before you just nod off and disappear in this odd realm. You do realize that there's fog outside, and your visibility range doesn't extend for more than 50 feet, maybe, before it's completely in fog. You don't feel any sense of danger, however. It just feels like a strange place, maybe caught between two shards. But you know that Sarn has spent most of his life in another shard, so maybe it's just a piece of where he's from. So that is the night that just happened. Okay, that could be interesting. Fisher, did I ask you to make a wisdom saving throw last time?
You did not.
Then make one.
Would you like me to?
Yeah. You never know. You might actually roll higher than 5.
Haha. That's a good thought.
Well, maybe it's a great thought. What did you roll?
3.
You know, Fisher, you got my hopes up.
I got my own hopes up.
Yeah, you were just too unsettled by what was happening around, and, your mind just wasn't completely in it. So you turned off, and when you come back to it, it's still a little foggy morning. But you start looking at Jorg waking up, at Nia waking up, at Sarn. They seem to already be up, just doing his thing. And apparently Rock is still guarding the perimeter of the fairy ring, just orbiting around it slowly. This huge 4 feet by 4 feet wide piece of ground that just rose from the earth and apparently is sentient because it shows its name. So, Jorg and Fisher, what do you do as you wake up?
I assume it's kind of wet in here now.
No.
Why would it be wet?
Oh, I thought the weather said it was drizzly.
Outside.
And we're not. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no. If you want to go be very technical about it, when you look Rock, you do notice that Rock is moist. I don't know why. I just looked at Remy's picture when I said that. So you look out and you do see that rock does have the color of moist ground. But inside of the fairy ring, it's nice, cozy. There's still the smell of pine and spruce in the air, and maybe it's because of this odd little crystal that looks slightly like a pine cone that is red hot and emanating a very soft, soothing heat right in the middle of it.
Is Sarn awake?
Sarn is awake.
So, can we leave now? Or are we somewhere else?
Of course you
How
can
do we
leave.
get back?
Well, you just have to walk there. So long as you're sentient, you can walk through this barrier. And you're gonna end up where you started. It's when you're not sentient that's the problem.
Okay. Thanks. And
When Sarn says this, you see Jorg looking at Fisher. Is it gonna work?
yeah, I walk out.
You walk out, no problem. You just exit it. It's like walking through a curtain of mist, and then you suddenly find yourself outside with a very faint drizzle. Of course, as always, a bit windy and unseasonably cold. You know, it's the middle of summer, and hey, you're glad that you aren't easily cold or warm because of the weather, because that would have been something. So Jorg, you see Fisher walk out. Damn, he's sentient.
I want to ask Sarn, where'd you get that gem? Referring to the pinecone one.
Oh, it's really just a useful tool. There's always something like this when you create the link between in the world that everyone is in and this place. It's always very well made for everyone. You know, if you summon it in the middle of a snow desert, it's going to be more useful. It's going to be a little stronger. If you summon it in the middle of a sand desert, it's going to emanate heat. And once it's completely dry, it's going to emanate cooling wind.
That is an extremely useful tool.
Well, yeah. It takes a while to understand how this place works. But when you learn, it's good.
Yeah. It seems like it. I'll have to learn it someday. You'll have to teach me someday.
Well, it might take a while, but yeah.
I'll be patient. And yeah, will you tell me when I'm ready?
Well, that's always hard to tell. You know, you're supposed to know when you're ready. If you're asking me if you're ready, then you're obviously not ready. If you don't want it because you think you're not ready, there's a good chance that you're ready. But then again, if you know it and you're saying this just because you want me to think that you're ready, then you're obviously not ready.
Yeah. I was not about to presume I was ready.
No, because I don't think you are.
Thanks. No.
When you're ready, come and get it. No. No.
This feels familiar for some way. Some reason? There's a... Oh, I don't know why.
I'll follow Fisher out.
Fisher, you turn around as you see the world around you, and you see this curtain that you just passed through. When you're on the other side, it's not there. All you can see is this ring of... Actually, right now, you're in the middle of the... You're outside of a town, so it would probably be a ring of mushroom for the fairy ring. All you can see is this ring of mushroom. It just looks like normal ground. But as you're watching this, okay, that's interesting. You see Jorg coming out, looking confused again. Which, it means either he has something he doesn't understand, or he just took a little bit of time to talk to Sarn.
Is this proof enough for you? Finally decided?
Yeah, I trust that you are very much sentient. I
Glad
wonder
we could-
now, are they all sentient and just trapped, or all constructs?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Some of them, though. At least for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Yeah. Well, you're a druid. You know about, like, dryads, right? In trees.
Mm-hmm.
The way I had it explained to me is it's kind of like that. Where constructs are the trees, and then something happens and a soul ends up there, and then it becomes sentient.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should probably find the other two.
Probably.
Or, you know what? Just look. Where does it look like there's a large group of adventurers gearing up to move? Anywhere?
Well, it's a bit early in the morning, so most people are just starting to wake up. It doesn't look like they're ready to move out, but you start seeing maybe those who are used to having less sleep, or that went to sleep very early, starting to leave the town. As soon as the gate open, you start seeing just a few people walking out and just I couldn't wait in there. Their food is awful. I'm gonna go hunt something. I'll be back in an hour. But as far as your friends are concerned, Audience and Remy, you wake up in a nice inn inside of the town of Crossroad. You've just had a pleasant night as far as you can tell. Audience, you dreamt of all the interesting potential that, seems to come at you from every direction. You're gonna spend a little bit of time with a red-headed priest, possibly a few weeks. There's potential there. You've just made friend with a friend of someone that you actually want to spend time with. There's few potential, interesting potential. So all of this just kept rolling around in your mind, and there's the rumor of that silver dragon living on top of a mountain peak a little bit further to the south. Who knows? Maybe it's a lady dragon.
Not actually where my mind would go on that one, I think. Not with the dragon.
No, it's just doesn't prevent you from letting your mind wander a bit about this, especially after
Actually, I
dreaming.
actually think I know it's a lady dragon because I think the elemental said it was.
There you have it.
And then your mind just lingers on that thought for a while.
For some reason, you dreamt about this. And, you start thinking about this and go, oh, yeah, in my dream there was... And then you see Remy coming out of his room. Remy, your morning was as usual. Your dream were as disjointed and weird as for the common people would be. But, Kenku, it's sort of a normal thing for you, for your dream to be disjointed. It's those fluid dreams that you've been having ever since you got this coin. Those dreams are weird for you. That's not normal. But having weird dream, you're walking down an alley with a friend of yours, and then suddenly he says, "Hold on!" And then you turn around, but you're walking in the middle of a field, and you hear someone saying, "They're coming," and it points up, and then you look up and you find yourself in a mountain looking at bird coming down. That's just normal for you. It's how your brain works. So so you've just
seeing audience, Randy walks up and rainbow.
audience, you are greeted by Remy and his rainbow, his fabled rainbow.
Morning, Remy.
Yeah. Randy blinks for a moment, remembering something from yesterday, and dispersing the rainbow a bit, he minor illusions a crystal. One that you recognize to be the one for the room in a pocket.
Oh, sure. I'll pull that out. I'll be like, do you need this?
Rainy nods.
All right, I'll open the room.
Easy enough to do for you. It's as easy as opening the curtain of a tent. There you go.
Yeah, so Randy, after having pointed out to him that his bag was starting to make some noise, he takes the bag off of his back and begins to unload some things. So he pulls out a crowbar, puts it in a corner. In that same corner, he pulls out a hammer, an extra lantern, some pythons, a couple bundles of rope.
It's like Mary Poppins, but without the bottomless bag.
And a few water skins.
All right. Eyes will nod. Classic adventuring gear. Seen it before.
Yeah, just making sure it's all neatly in a pile, just it's like Raimi is surprisingly organized in this corner, but then just looks down, nods, and then walks proudly out of the room.
All right. Audience will close the room behind Remy.
There's even name tag on everything that he put in there.
So we should probably go get breakfast and then see if we can find the others.
So Raimi nods.
All right. So you close the entrance to your dimensional space, and then You go down. You go to the first floor, and you see a few other adventurers. Maybe people who are just waking up, or people who spend the night there. Like I said, it's probably the biggest town in all of Estrin. Maybe even the Mistle Island chain. Sorry. So there's definitely a few people there just talking, not doing much more. Some of them are noticing you, and you also see your two masters were just there, and your new masters and mentors. Audience, you see Corinth just finally up.
I'll wave at him back. Way back.
Finally up.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty early. It's like,
It's because of the rain. It feels like it's earlier than it actually is. But the sun has actually come out from behind the clouds, you know.
I'll look out. I mean, I assume it's like 7 or 8 in the morning.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you had your long rest, no problem, and you also wake up pretty early. But hey,
Yeah.
you're starting to look at Corinth a bit like the grandfather you most likely never had a chance to meet, or just saw a few times, and then you had to go back with your father's teaching, training. But you know that old people sometimes needs a little bit less sleep, so you know maybe it's that. From your point of view, he's very old, you know.
Yeah, I'll look out. I'll be like, looks a bit cold and rainy today for the summer.
I don't know.
Must be getting near to the mountains.
Oh, definitely, but actually, I think that it should be a bit drier near the mountains. You know, the wind's bouncing off the mountains to the northeast. So on this side here, it's probably going to be a little bit drier. But yeah, you know, we're right in between two lakes. So usually there's a little bit more rain when there's water all around. But I actually like it.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of weather.
It reminds me a bit of where I'm from. A bit of a swampy place.
I assume that shell provides fairly good protection against any weather.
Oh, you know. It's functional? Actually, you have to be careful because sometime if you spend too much time in water, algae starts growing on your shell. It's not unpleasant. It even keeps you a little bit, you know, gives you a little bit more of dampness when it's really hot outside, but usually people don't like that, you know. They come right next to you and they see slimy stuff on your shell, and then immediately they think that you're some sort of horrible creature coming from a lagoon somewhere. You have to be careful about that.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't think I would have that problem, but yes.
Yeah. Common people, they can be very judgmental.
Yeah.
I see your friend's also up.
Yeah.
Rainy makes a rainbow.
Yeah, maybe we'll have one later on. You never know. So, I hope you had a pleasant night. We have a few days' walk.
Yep. Decide to get moving.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I'll let you get something in your stomach. I'll go gather up the troops. Not everyone stayed at the same inn. Make sure that some of them don't oversleep, you know. Some of them look a little, you know, kind of people that'll sleep until noon.
Yeah, gotta make sure to get all those bards up.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think we only have one.
Yes.
And she's not the kind of person that is gonna sleep till noon. You know, she's an elf. She's already up.
Fair enough. I've only known one bard, and he was a heavy sleeper, so I've been in a party with.
Yeah, I've heard rumored about this. Colorful fellow. In both
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Alright, well, get something in your stomach. And you too. Oh, I'm not sure. What exactly do you eat? And he points at you, Remy. Do you prefer meat? Fruit? Vegetable? Oh, not a lot of creature like vegetables, so it's totally fine if you don't like them, but what do you prefer?
So Raimi thinks on it for a moment, and just like it basically just like laying out his hand, thinking about it, just like just starts like minor allusion some of his like his favorite foods, but like the common thread among them is that they tend to either be fruits or meats.
Yeah, alright.
Just like 1 minute there's an apple, another minute there's a watermelon, then there's
Oh yeah, that's good too.
and there's like a pork roast. Although curiously, no chickens. Or maybe not curiously.
Oh, well, you know, don't see a lot of poultry in there. Oh, it's good, it's good. It's good to know. It's good to know.
For some reason, every time he looked at a piece of chicken, he just felt at odds.
You know, I heard that humans...
It looked a little too much.
No,
A little too familiar.
I respect that. I respect that. You know, I heard that humans and monkeys have something in common. I guess it's normal for them not to like eating monkeys, although I've seen humans eat monkeys. Well, that opens up a whole weird stuff when you think about it, huh?
Maybe just starts whistling uncomfortably.
I guess I'm gonna have to think about this. And you hear his voice go dimmer and dimmer as he moves away. Would an elemental of nature eat plants? Alright, so Surround, you've already paid for your food. If you paid for your food last time, it means it's already been paid, so you have your meal. Remy, of course, as you are eating, you have a plate that appears in front of you, and you start eating, and just as you're about to take a piece of bacon, feels like there's one missing.
First, he looks over to the side at audience's plate.
Well, you've been looking at him eating. There's the amount of bacon that should be there.
It's like no, it's this part of this process. It's just like turns his head like, wait a minute, he's not that stealthy, and then turns his head the other direction to look at Gantesh's plate.
Make a perception roll.
That's gonna be 23.
Okay. You turn to the other side. You don't see anything, but you hear in the background. You're gonna get your normal amount of bacon when you learn to defend it. And you see Gamtesh leaving. Leaving the inn.
Remy feels sad, but also at the same time, he probably feels this might be some sort of karmic balance for stealing audience's meat at various points.
Alright, right, so you finish eating up. You see a few other adventurers coming out of their room, just going, all right, we're going. Let's go, man. I'll take whatever I paid for to go. I'm eager to get started. And see other people leaving. Some of them just eating their whatever was left from the meal that they had, that they were allowed to have. Just leaves while eating it. Some of them are taking a bit of time to eat it. And so after maybe 30, 45 minutes, everything is finished and you start heading out. You find yourself in the middle of this small drizzle. Cool air. It's the first thing that you notice when you get out. It's sort of, whew, damn. Isn't it supposed to be in the middle of winter? Summer, I mean? Feels like the end of spring. Or rather, the beginning of spring. Sorry, I was thinking about autumn.
Amy just tugs his coat closer around him.
Alright, so do you look for something before leaving, or are you going straight out to where everyone is?
Head on. I'm going to head straight out. I don't need time.
So, Fisher, you are stuck there watching people, and suddenly, Jorg, you are offered a choice. You see Mia coming back after a few moments, and she starts making a fire. And she has a squirrel in her hands, a dead one. So she arrives. Well, there's no polite way of saying this. She shoves a stick down the throat of the animal, which comes out the other hand, and she starts roasting it on a small fire. After a few moments, she looks at you and, it's not big, but do you want some?
I'll take some squirrel.
You see Sarn coming out of the magical place where you were, and yes. He grabs something from a pouch and just, and then goes away. So Fisher, you are previewed to this ritual of roasting a morning squirrel. And then you see Nia, the gnome, and Jorg sharing this squirrel meat.
I am gonna go. Is there a tree nearby? I'm gonna go do some experiments.
Oh yeah, just because I want to see this.
Watch, druids, as I stab this tree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit young for a tree, but it's probably an apple tree. But it's a bit young. It's just roughly maybe a few feet taller than you. So it's starting to have leaves, but it's not this huge tree. Then you look at it, ooh.
How wide is the trunk?
I'd say roughly since 6-inch in diameter.
I'm gonna try and stick the lever on it.
All right. So, what position? Up, straight, or down?
Let's do straight.
Okay. So you place the lever, you wait for a moment, then you let it go, and it seems to be sticking to the bark of the tree. So
I push it up.
oh goodness, how would a tree react to this?
The flames rise high instead of low.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this today. I thought that my original draft was a bit too serious. So, all right. So you push it up. All right. You push it up, and this means all right. You suddenly feels like the tree is just letting out a stronger fragrance. You can actually smell the apples in the air, and it's almost as if it was in full bloom, but it's no longer in bloom. But whew, hey, something just let out a good old fart smelling like apple tree.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it all the way down.
Oh goodness, poor tree. I hope it's not sentient. You pull it completely down, and then suddenly, right now you don't see any different. You don't feel or smell any difference for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But since it's such a windy place in Estrin, so after a moment you realize that okay, the smell is gone. And some of the leaves are actually starting to die. You just see a few leaves just go gently going down. Some of them are even changing colors.
And if I put it back in the middle?
It takes a while, but it seems to go back to, maybe by while I mean a few minutes, but it seems to go back to wherever it was in the beginning. Not more fragrant. You actually are starting to see a few buds of the flowers that had started to turn into apples. They're actually there, just like before, and suddenly the leaves seems to be back to healthy.
Interesting. I'll take it off the tree.
All right. Takes a moment, but you gently squeeze it out and comes off. You don't even see anything on the tree. There's no trace that it was actually there. No scarring, no anything like that. Make a perception roll.
Ooh. 18.
18, all right. So as you're watching this and writing this down, you do notice that, all right, there was a broken branch, small broken branch, to your right. And you can actually see a drop of sap that has formed at the end of the wound of the broken branch, which would be odd. You know, there's never supposed to be that much juice that comes out of anything. Not enough to form a drop. It would have to be a
branch
really big wound on the tree to make that. But
Did the branch fall off while I was messing with it?
No, no,
or-
no. It was
No,
just a
it's-
branch that you probably someone who walked too close from it, someone with a cart, maybe someone who was trying to figure out if the apples were ripe for picking, just broke a small branch. No, the odd thing is just that you really don't remember seeing this tier of sap forming at the end of the branch.
Hmm.
It's sort of like as if the tree went into overdrive for a moment.
Interesting. Hey, I guess that's good for now.
All right. It's so weird trying to figure out how a tree is going to respond to this because all of the examples that I made were about when someone is in a room, and now I have to figure out how would a tree react to this. What's the equivalent? All right, so as Fisher is finishing his scientific endeavors, you have Audience and Remy, who are suddenly arriving, with a few other people, just everyone's stretching a bit and, I don't like rainy days. I like rainy days. It's kind of fun. I'm gonna get a cold again. You little... This sort of conversation as you're all arriving, and you see Fisher just in front of a tree, taking notes with a lever in his hand. George finishing eating up a squirrel, accompanied by a gnome. And just to be clear, him and the gnome are eating the squirrel. He's not eating a squirrel accompanied by a gnome.
Alright, so they're like, alright, everyone ready to head out?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been out
still-
for a while. What took you
Yeah.
so long?
Still got a few days of walking left. Breakfast. Food. Some of us
Right.
need it.
It's rather inconvenient.
I mean, it tastes good.
To each their own, I guess.
A halfling skips by. Everyone needs num num in their tum tum.
That was a halfling that actually lives here. You see this kid just saying this randomly as the group pass by and... Yeah, okay. Alright. So, let's go. This is percent and this. Okay. So, everyone gathers around and finish packing up, and you see Sarn coming back, and Jord putting away whatever is left and completely putting out the fire. As always, you don't see where Gemtish is coming from, but suddenly you hear a voice saying, "Oh, that's not interesting. Here, you can have it back." And you see him handing something to one of the adventurers. A small short sword. You hear, what? We're on your team. Well, that's what you say. And you Corinth is there quite easily. You see Caitlin just... All right, everyone. We still have... She takes out a map. Well, you can always stop here or here. You know, it's... or we can just keep it all walking for a full day. We'll see when we arrive there, but I think we're gonna just keep on walking for the entire day. So we have the mountain range that's really in our sight right now. It's a bit small. So let's keep on going. I'm pretty sure we won't meet anyone because no one would be stupid enough to attack a group of 12 adventurers.
Everyone looks at the camera.
Yeah.
So you
Cut to 5 hours later, just like the forest is on fire, everyone's
Yeah.
screaming, why?
Surrounded by dead bodies.
It's not my fault. I didn't try and do this. It just
They came
happened.
from the trees! They came from the trees!
Alright, so you spend the day walking, which means I caught it before. Alright. I don't know why, but hey, it's... Guess what? It's a windier day than it was in the morning.
Oh boy.
What?
I mean, but I feel like we're not even. I feel like at this point it's just normal for us, since every day for us is super windy.
Yeah.
We're not even like we're like, oh, it's windy. Okay, whatever.
No, I know, but I still roll it just out of reflex, and I say, oh well, it's so windy that I just add a few numbers to it, no matter what. But you know, when you still roll a 19, well, it's the dice are planning to just sit. Remember, it's really windy. So, the closer you get to the mountain, probably because the wind is moving a little bit faster, it suddenly gets really windy. So, maybe after a few hours of walking in this slushing sound, because of the drizzle that is outside, the wind suddenly starts to pick up, and the rain stops. And it's sort of nice because, okay, well, now we can... Oh, but it's a bit too late because we're all soaking wet, or those of you who wear clothes. For audience, you know, his body is still just dry. But for everyone else, it's sort of good, and the wind is helping a bit. You know, it's getting drier and drier, and then suddenly during the day you start having to speak like this all the time because it's really windy. So the temperature doesn't really move, and you're starting to think, oh, well, maybe it's because we're close to the mountains. You know, very often when you start going up, gets a little bit colder, so maybe you've actually started to go up a little bit. It's just that you don't see it because the climb is too gentle. So during when you arrive at noon, you come near a small village. Nothing very remarkable. This is probably one of the safest zone on the island of Esterin because you are right in the middle of the two greatest city on here. So you always have patrols. There's always security. The villager there just seems to be going about their business. So if you want to stop and pay for a meal, you could, because it's about noon. It would be a nice time to have a dinner. Since it's only just one meal, if you want to pay for a meal, I'd say you can half price it and just
Audience got rations, a lot of rations. He'll eat his rations.
Okay.
Yeah. Jorg's got some too. He's gonna do the same thing.
Alright, so Remy, you see the other members of your party starting to get rations out. You see Gamtesh with rations in his hand, but he doesn't have a backpack. Are you taking a ration, or are you, as everyone is moving through this small village, taking a moment to just go buy something fresh for yourself, or are you taking a ration also?
I'm gonna roll for peer pressure. No, surprisingly, Ramy is going to be very independent, and it's like, nah, he's going to eat something fresh today.
Okay.
Save the rations for later, emergencies.
So as you see everyone just moving through this village, you see a lot of people just taking their own ration. You see a few, maybe 5 or 6 people just saying, "Oh, we'll catch you up. We'll just take a few moments. We're gonna take something." And you see them just go and try and buy something. And then you see from in the corner of your eye, you see Gamtesh looking at you, chewing on something really hard. He's just looking at you.
And honestly, Ramy has no room to judge because he looks at a lot of people.
So, like I said, if you want to buy something, you can just use the usual that we've all established and cut it in half because it's only one meal.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to one stand and just for fun, what are you taking? It's a small village, so it's most likely you most likely have a choice between fruits, small fishes that have been dried, so it's easy to eat. Maybe a few dried meat also. Can always take
let's go
fresh
for
eggs,
fish.
but you know.
It feels like he hasn't.
Okay, so you take the proper amount of fish, look around, pay, move off, and you start eating your fish. Then you hear a voice from behind you. Oh, that's not impressive. Really can't call this fending for yourself. And then you see Gamtesh walking away. So
Take advantage of every opportunity, Ramy.
you hear, oh goodness, yeah, you have this really bad deja vu moment where you see Gamtesh leaving while he's saying this, and then as you say this, you hear his voice behind you again saying, "Yeah, you certainly missed an opportunity there." And you see Gamtesh again crossing you and walking away.
So, would yeah, I'm guessing like would Remy what kind of check would this be to determine if this if one of those was an illusion?
Investigation. Usually illusion, it's investigation.
That is what's that number? Oh, 21.
21. Let me... Alright. Take a moment, look around, and you focus really well. Aha! You see something weird. There's a small pebble that just clipped the shoes of the last one that came by. You think that one is an illusion. The second one. But it was so subtle. Like, oh yeah. That would have been hard. A lot of people would just justify that as he has thick boots. Yeah. But I know. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Like eyes narrow, but game recognized game.
All right, so you nibble on your dried fish for a little while as you all leave this small village. So, whoops. As the second part of the day moves in, oh, that's cool. Let's not roll for wind. I don't want there to be a hurricane next time. So, as the day starts winding down, you've been walking again for a few hours, and you definitely are starting to see the mountains arriving and more, and they're getting a whole lot bigger. And for the first time, you sort of really realize, oh yeah, that's really a big mountain range. All the while you were walking and moving up to the garden, and then after to Autanel, there was always mountains to the west. That's definitely it. That's probably the same chain. There's probably no interruption in it. So it's quite long, quite large, goes on forever. You start seeing it approaching more and more. A few of the peaks and all of these mountains all even seems to have a little bit of snow. So some of them are quite high, but most of them aren't all that high. As the day is reaching an end, you see the sun slowly setting, and then you see another small village. You hear Kaiten just go, all right, so this is the last village that's not in the mountain. So if you, like my mother kept saying when I was younger, if you need to pee before we leave, we're going to spend the last day here. So do whatever you need. Take whenever is necessary. It's just a small village, so basically if you forgot food, now is the time to buy it. If not, we're going back on the road next morning, because unlike our, and she turns toward Fisher, unlike our stone and metal friend, we actually need to sleep a bit. So, just take your accommodations and see you all tomorrow. You hear a few people, oh, yeah, I'm getting a little bit sleepy, and I think it's starting to rain again. Yeah. As you look up, audience, it's starting to rain again. You see the shadow of a dragon in the sky just flying over. You hear someone say, "Hey, I see a dragon! It's gonna be good luck!" You hear another one go, "Yeah, well, so long as he doesn't come back, it's good luck."
Audience will drop to his knees, offer a quick prayer. We are watched over.
You hear one of the member of the expedition just stops as you're finishing your prayers. Right, I heard about you. Man, dragonborns are weird. And he just walks away. Looks like it was a human, you know.
Are you gonna take that?
Yes. I am going to take that because we all have to go on an adventure the next day, and I don't feel like beating up one of my companions who has to maybe go to battle the next couple days.
Yeah. That's probably a good idea.
Alright. So, You all go back. You all go inside the small village, and of course, there's only one tavern. So immediately, when the innkeeper sees this throng of people just entering his inn, oh, that's a lot. And he turns toward a smaller boy and I think some of them are going to use the stable. I'm not sure we have enough room for everyone. Come in, everyone. I'll do my best to at least give everyone food. Wow, honey, we have a lot of customers tonight.
Audience is going to use a classically known term that I don't know if is coined in D&D, but he will now coin himself and is going to call dibs on not the stable. You hear an immediate dibs from audience.
So you hear maybe 5 or 6 people, including audience, all at the same time. I get room.
Man, imagine not being a druid. I just get to sleep outside.
Imagine having to sleep.
Remy, do you remember to call a room or do you get locked out?
I feel like everybody's voices would have been louder than the one that Raimi would have chosen at the time.
Unfortunate.
You hear everyone go, I got a room, I got a room, I got a room. And you hear from the background just a, oh, I'll take a room also. Who said that?
You gotta be loud to get what you want. That's what I learned in Dragonborn society. Gotta shout louder than everyone else.
Well, now Raimi definitely has a healthy sampling from this entire group. Voices to use next time.
Yeah, you heard humans. You're sure you heard a halfling somewhere in there. You heard a gnome. You heard someone that feels like human, but you know that there's a proportion of human and half human in the group. So, okay. So you have a good sampling. And you have audience also. You know, it's probably the one that you'll remember the most, saying, I got a room!
I mean, probably was top 3 loudest anyway, so not a bad choice.
Oh, I know it's going to advantage this, but let's make a charisma roll. Let's see who screamed the loudest. Oh, jeez. Okay. Damn. All right. So, what did you roll? You're muted, I think.
Only a 4.
Only a 4.
But I said I yelled first, so I'm gonna say I was the one who started the chain. I didn't think I needed to yell loud.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, everyone thought that they were starting this chain at the same time. I rolled. There were 5 of you, so I rolled 4d20.
I will roll initiative for this.
Sure, why not? Because I rolled 3 4s.
All right, that's a 16. Oh no, 13. Okay, it added that now. 13.
Actually, someone started saying it just before you because they rolled on the dice a 17 for the initiative. But everyone else rolled solo. But one of them, it doesn't matter. And you sort of feel like, oh, that's cheating. Because you hear this very gentle voice right as everyone finishes screaming, it's I'm the one. You hear this voice that buries everyone out. exactly 3 times louder than a person shouting, "I have a room!" Yeah.
Cleric.
Well, actually, I'd say, yeah, because Jorg is outside preparing with Sarn to sleep outside. Audience, since you are a person of faith, yeah, you recognize the spell thaumaturgy there. Someone used thaumaturgy to bury everyone else as they were shouting.
Audience goes boo. Yes.
And you see 3 other persons just go,
Boo.
Actually, you know what? During this mess, are the keys displayed anywhere?
behind the counter. It's just a small village. There's not a lot of security there.
Yeah, so maybe while everyone was shouting to try and get a room, Remy would like to steal one of the keys.
All right. In that case, since you have to go behind the desk, I'd say you have to make a stealth roll, and then after that, a sleight of hand.
I'll use Mage Hand.
Oh, okay. Well, then just
I
sleight.
don't have to be behind.
All right. Well, then just sleight of hand.
Luck be a lady tonight. 21.
All right. So you see the innkeepers. Okay, hold on. Not everyone at the same time. We are preparing the stables. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. So you said, so he takes a key, gives one to one person, gives another one to one person, gives one to you, audience, because you're the second one who actually started screaming. So you get the second key. Starts giving out keys, and then suddenly, hey. Is there someone else in the inn? I thought we had 2 more keys. All right. Well, sorry everyone else. The stables are nice. I've never heard a horse complain. And you hear the voice of Sarn in the background say, "Well, that's not what they said." All right, everyone. Let's try and get.
Audience is now going to go into the second part of his strategy for getting a key, which is now he'll look around to see if any females of the party didn't get a key but wanted a room.
Well, actually, you're going to. Oh, goodness. You get a nasty choice.
Oh, all right.
Well,
I mean, I like choices.
Nasty girl.
Well, because I rolled a natural 20, so one of them is a surprise. The other one is not a surprise. Kitten, because she's a priest, didn't say anything. She just let everyone scream, and she's a priest, so I'll join everyone in the stable, don't worry about it. And then you also see the female archer, who just seems like she didn't feel like screaming. Sort of there was a, oh, this is uncivilized, having to scream for your room. And she doesn't say anything, and she just, all right, well, starts walking toward the stable. So you have a choice. You have one.
Do I know
key.
what class the female is with the
Arcane Archer, if I remember correctly.
Well,
so she's not. But I know she's not a ranger, so she actually would. All right, because I'm like, I know a ranger wouldn't care. They'd be like, whatever.
Well, just looking at her, there is something that is very well kept. Her hair is extremely well placed for an adventurer. It's not like nobility, beautiful, well placed, well cared, but it's still for an adventurer. It's very functional and elegant. There is an elegance in the way she walks. She has a fair amount of armor, and she isn't wearing armor for stealth. It's mostly grays and white. But she has a bow, and she has been using it predominantly. You've even seen her once. She has magic. And from the look of it, she's probably half Helven.
Well, I know priests, and priests literally don't care about sleeping between inns and stables. So I'm gonna go up.
In fact, the last priest he hanged
yeah,
around
I
with,
know she was an elven priest, and she consistently ate porridge and slept in basically. Besides, I don't know. Catherine they might have a little church there that Catherine would prefer to go sleep in anyway. So
there's a very thin line between a priest and a pauper.
yeah, so I will. Audience will make his way over to the female archer and be like, on second thought, I see many of my other party members will be sleeping in the stable, and I would not like to leave them unattended. So I offer you my key, my lady. We'll give a short bow and offer her the key.
Okay. Too bad there's not a trait for etiquette. Let's see.
They know. People know a gentleman when they see one.
No, I know. So I'd say, it goes into performance. You are trying to be as eloquent as possible. Feel like the gentlest of gentlemen with scales. So make a performance roll if you have the proficiency. If not, it's just charisma roll.
It'd just be charisma. That'd be 11.
11. So there is a moment where she looks at you and she does notice that, it's... Even you, as you're speaking, you sort of say, well, that was a nice speech for a stable girl. And you're hoping she's not gonna mind. She looks at you for a moment and she has a grin.
The thoughts behind the action that count.
Yeah, no. And from her response, you get the idea that she agrees with the intention is more important than pure eloquence. So she says, well, that's very generous of you. You do seem to not mind roughing it more than the majority of our friend adventurers. That is very generous of you. She even gives you a small, very courteous bow. She takes the key, and she even gives you a small kiss on the cheek, just to. That was.
I'll be like, the name is Audience. I do not think we have been introduced.
Yes, no, we have not been introduced. However, you make it very hard not to be known. Hold on, I'm just trying to find again. I remembered her name is not that easily to pronounce. Where is it? Here you go. Yes. And mine is Sierra.
Alright, let me just go to my notes real quick. Gotta update a couple lists.
Only thing he takes notes on.
You know what? I have a... You're not actually completely wrong. How do you
Names
spell
are
that?
hard, man.
So it's Siaraph.
I'm just gonna put Archer. Is she an elf or a human? I don't know.
Because she's wearing her hair a bit in a bundle, you do see that there are slight points to her ears. So she's most likely half elven.
Yes. I'll be like, a pleasure, and I hope you have a good night.
I most likely will have a better night. than in a stable. I hope you will also have a good night. However, I think you, looking at your grin, you most likely enjoy this more than you let on.
I do not mind sleeping outside. I am used to it.
Yes.
Scales
You look
are a
like-
bit more resistant to weather than that of perhaps a normal creature's skin.
Yes, definitely normal creature. It is true that skin does have disadvantages. It is easier to injure. It is, however, very useful in other ways. The only way you have to regulate your body heat is to open your mouth, which often makes Dragonborn look a little unflattering when they're feeling a little bit hot. With skin, well, you can just refresh yourself.
Yes.
And the advantages...
As well as it is quite lovely to look upon.
Why, thank you. And so, I will let you have your beauty sleep.
You as well.
Thank you very much. And we will see each other again in the morning. Lest the night brings surprises again. Of
Yes.
course.
Hopefully not.
I've heard you handled yourself rather well during this event.
I was one of the few of at least my party, it seems, that was not charmed. Although my vision was certainly impaired, and I did not see reality as it should be. But
Well,
we will.
you didn't kill your entire party, so I would imagine that you managed to see just enough tear in this illusion and were able to hold back from killing everyone. So you have to take victories where they are. Well, it is always...
Of an audience
Yeah.
will give a nod and head out.
Remember what happened during that night? Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Successful mission accomplished. Check it off.
Yeah, cool.
Plan was fruitful.
All right. So, of course, Remy, with your passive perception, you saw all this happening.
Yeah, just Raimi's eyes have squinted as he adds another interloper to the list.
All right, I'll have to make a doll out of her and learn voodoo.
Me and Remy have the same list, just very different.
It's just a different title.
Oh no, wait. Hear me out. So audience's list is called the hit list. And Raimi's is also called the hit list.
Yeah, they have the same title. The difference is in how it's written. With audience, it's written with care and gentleness. With Remy, it's written with anger and hate. So, audience...
Actually, in fact,
Yeah.
you know what? Raimi, during this, is Fisher in the inn right now?
I don't know. How soon would you have splintered off from the group and went outside of town to most likely spend the night where Sarn is spending the night? Or unless you want to do the stable.
Stable of a door.
Yeah.
Gonna go be testing the lever on the door. Stable.
Oh, jeez. So you take the stable. Okay, so most likely you would have been there for most of this. Okay.
And then so Rainy, he goes up to Fisher and he minor illusions a shield.
I take my shield off my back and hand it to him.
Yep, and you'll notice that as you handle the shield, like it actually starts floating in the air, and Rainy and the shield start wandering off.
Fisher goes to say something, but then decides not to, and we'll get it back eventually. Maybe.
You hear from inside of you, Fisher, say, "You think he'd be able to cross Sarn's barrier?"
That's rude.
No, you're right. He's probably sentient. Sentience doesn't mean intelligence, though, so... Yeah. He doesn't add anything to this.
No. One of these days, maybe I'll look into putting a curse on you that means you can't use your own words.
I think I'd like seeing that. You might have a surprise.
Okay.
You really need to do your researches.
Or, you could just tell me.
Haven't you ever wondered why bottles of potion don't suddenly burst when someone throws a fireball at you?
Haven't you ever answered a question without something other than a question?
Hey, I like intelligent conversation.
There's a difference between intelligent conversation and witty banter.
I guess we know which
is
one you
useless.
are now. So, are you going to answer the question, or are you just going to keep on doing the offended little girl?
What question?
Have you ever wondered why potions don't burst when a fireball is thrown at you?
No.
It has something to do with the interaction between magic and stuff that is on you. If you try and do this, you're gonna cast it on yourself. I'd love to see you not be able to talk anymore.
Well, I mean, I can always take you out.
So you're saying you're gonna take me out, curse me, and put me back in. Have you ever done research on cursed object before?
Not really.
Yeah.
Haven't had a whole lot of time in my life so far.
Well, that's not what your memory says, but hey.
Time that I've been in control.
No, but what do I see here? Says that you spent a year studying the construction of construct. Apparently you were trying to figure out what you are.
Yeah.
And not a single time have you taken the time to do in-depth research. Yeah.
On curses? No.
On things that can affect you. You know, it's sort of like when humans decide to learn more about their anatomy and they don't think about learning more on the subject of the heart. and why it's important that it stays in your chest.
Well, that's a bit of a stretch.
Not from where I'm standing.
You're not
Or
standing.
sitting.
I'm standing. There it is.
Well, technically, I'm more
You
rolling.
done? I've got other research to do.
But I guess I can roll further than you.
Depends how hard I roll you.
So what you're saying is that you want to help me beat you on how far I can roll.
No. I'm saying whether or not you move is up to my discretion. I'm saying you have no agency in where you go.
And you think I am insulting to others, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe you should take a moment to listen to yourself a little bit more.
I wonder where I learned it from.
Oh,
I
not...
learned it by watching you, Dad.
You're rubbing off on me.
Ew.
Doesn't feel like that on my end. You're just always thinking about stupid stuff, making rash decisions, making odd choices. Doesn't feel like you're thinking a lot. But hey, I guess it's the difference between 1 and 2, you know? When you go from roll 1 and you go to 2, it feels like you just doubled everything you have. But someone looking at you from 3 says, oh, that's not that impressive. Just a reminder, people are staring at you right now. You turn around and you see 5 adventurers just there watching you talk to yourself.
And what's new?
You get a gnome. The one that has what looks like a gun on him. Is that normal for you?
Unfortunately,
Maybe you
I
should
have
get...
a rather obnoxious sentient artifact embedded in my chest.
Maybe you should get that checked. I'm sure the garden will be very glad at helping you on this.
I have gotten it. What do you mean checked? They have looked at him.
You are aware that people talking to themselves is not well seen in society.
I'm also aware people generally don't view me as people.
That's not helping. It's like saying, oh, I have a sword, and it keeps talking to itself.
He stabs him. We must stab him. No, no, we must not stab him. No, no.
He hears that right behind him coming from Remy. He looks at you and says, that's what I mean. That's what it sounds for us.
Well, okay. Do I care?
I don't know. That's your life, not mine.
Exactly. Scram.
And he walks away.
Oh, cool. So I rolled a 16 intimidation check, which is surprisingly good.
Okay, well, if you were
'Cause I have
trying
a
to roll
-1.
intimidation, he looks at you for a moment and sort of squint his eyes, then roll his eyes and walks away. And you hear from inside of you say, Good job. You just managed to alienate a possible friend.
Yeah, well, you put me in a bad mood.
Oh, you put yourself in a bad mood. You're the one talking.
No. Don't you dare not take responsibility. You ain't gonna gaslight me on this.
And this is what
Whether or not
you
you like it.
This is what you
Your
hear as
entire
Fisher.
personality is antagonistic. And would you also have the ability to speak out loud? Other people would agree with me.
This is what you all hear as Fisher is walking toward the stable, looking in his backpack for a lever. Audience, you see, well, audience, you're a bit used to this, but it's still a bit of a longer conversation that he usually has. You see him enter the stables. Yeah.
Oh, it's just like, you know what? Good thing I make so many friends for our group, because that man does not.
All right.
I've made friends in the library.
Yeah, those who watched you from the inside out. No, but hey, no, that's not wrong. You're probably the party member who is the closest to Tayag. So
I got 9 in charisma. What do you want from me?
A+1. All right, so as you keep on arguing with Terranad, but you know, from your point of view, from the everyone else's point of view is yourself. You easily find a place to bed down, and although you have a few odd stares while you're doing that, you easily find a place where no one seems there, where there's a flat surface to try the lever on. The question is, when do you want to try it?
Did I get here before majority of people?
Who?
Did I get here before the majority of the other
Oh,
people?
okay. I heard that. Okay, no, I heard the Geordie upheaval. What? We have a new party member? Okay. The majority of people. All right. The majority of people, yeah. You do get... When you get inside, there's only a few people. Some of them are grunting a little bit because they didn't want to sleep on the hay. But most of the people aren't there yet. A lot of people stayed inside and they're preparing to eat.
Then, yeah, I'll do it as soon as I get there.
Okay. Audience, this is the first time that you're gonna get to see this. You see Fisher talking and then everyone's staring at him, but he just goes right to the other end, find a flat surface, takes what looks like a lever and just place it on the wall. Waits for a moment and then suddenly it holds. So, well, actually, you're in a structure now, so I literally can ask you, all right, you place it. Wall, ceiling, floor, and which position?
I'll do the wall again. And, we'll start down, because I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so...
Why does those options sound like my DMs?
Alright, so the lever is placed downward, so you can push it up once, so it's gonna be in mid-level, or twice to push it up completely up.
Let's start with just going into the middle.
Alright, so take a moment, push the lever up once, so it's in the middle. Suddenly you see all of the doors and shutter just go. They all close at the same time. You hear someone from behind the door. Ow! That hurts.
I push it back down.
You see all of the door and the shutters, windows all open all at the same time.
Huh.
You hear someone go, "That's a nice trick."
I push it all the way to the top.
That's...
Stables blow up.
The stable flies.
Okay. So... you push it up. So you feel the first sort of notch as you push it in the center, and you see everything just close. And then as you push it all the way up, you also see a shimmer on every single door and windows that was closed. You see it appear for just a fraction of a moment. You also hear from behind the door, which comes from inside, "Come on! That's not polite!"
Open it.
You hear someone taking the handle and pulling, and the door is not opening. He starts frantically pushing on it and... "Come on! That's not a nice joke!"
Yeah, I'll pull it all the way back down.
For a moment, you see... the second you push it and you go over the center, you see the shimmer go away and the door just open and poor guy just falls down and... "You know, you're kind of being mean." And then when you completely push it down, you see all of the windows and door just all open.
Sorry, I'm testing out something the gnomes gave me.
Yeah, that's what they always say. It's never their fault. And he goes to a corner and just starts taking hay down.
And then I take it off the wall and then put it back on, but starting in the middle.
Starting in the middle, okay. So you do this, you put it in the middle. So push it up or push it down?
Up.
Up. Make a perception roll.
Seven.
Push it up and you look around. As far as you can see, nothing seems to have changed. Did you hear someone scream, "Hey, put that out! It's a barn here!"
What out? Who said that, and what are they looking at?
Well, right now they're just looking at someone who just seems to have put out something. You do see a small plume of smoke going up. You see the person goes, "I don't know, I didn't do anything."
I'll push it down. Or pull the lever down to the bottom.
Make a perception roll.
8.
As far as you can tell, nothing happened this time either. You don't hear anyone reacting to anything.
Anybody notice anything happened when I did that?
Yeah, you sort of get this moment of everyone just turning around and looking at the camera, and you know that it's you that's behind the camera. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, stop doing that. That really isn't nice to everyone what you're doing.
Is it not? What's happening? I don't know what it's doing. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you prefer I don't?
You hear Corinth just go, well, maybe you should warn other when you're trying to experiment on things. You know, give a lot of people the opportunity to not be part of your experiment against their will.
Fair enough. My bad. We'll return it to the middle and then take it off the wall.
Put it back to the middle and take it off the wall. After just a few moments, there's no mark on the wall, nothing that suggests that this lever was ever there.
And then I will not keep going with my experiments.
Good lad, good lad. So, what were you saying, audience?
I don't think I was saying anything.
Ah, that's alright. Probably wasn't important. That's what my father used to tell me when I was young. If you forget about it, it's probably not important. So don't worry about it. If it's really important, it's gonna come back. If it's vital, you're gonna die because you forgot it. Yeah, my father used to say that also. Alright, so you all bed down, you all... Jorg, you go...
Not quite.
Not quite, alright.
Oh,
Yeah, remember, Rainy borrowed Fisher's shield.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
okay. So, what do you want to do with Fisher's shield?
Yeah, so as Rainy kind of like goes off into like a small clearing, just like allows his mage hand to just like prop up the shield exactly where he wants it to be, and
inside
he just starts
inside the inn, or you're going outside?
Oh, not inside the inn. No, it's like
Okay.
like that would maybe cause more concern. Like he went outside to do this, but I made a few rolls, and some of these are going to be loud. As Remy has positioned this shield just right, and starts venting out his frustrations by pulling out a dagger and just starts repeatedly stabbing at and banging on this shield.
So all the while this is happening inside of the that could have been interesting. Inside of the barn, the stable. Audience, you're talking a little bit with Corinth and Fisher. You're trying your things, and then suddenly you hear from outside a variety of curse in different languages and stuff like that.
And also, I'm gonna make this roll just to see. Oh yeah, that's fucking loud. Well, not loud, but hard. Like at a few points, like Rainy hits the shield so hard that it actually causes his entire body to vibrate on impact, and he has to stop for a few seconds. So like they're suddenly quiet, and then suddenly the stabbing goes again.
So you hear this.
Repeated pinging of.
You hear this. Sounds like someone's venting frustration outside. Oh well, better not go out. You never know, they might take you for a target. Alright, so... And are you just venting frustration through attacks on the shield, or are you also talking and screaming and saying things that we shouldn't say on a channel we want to keep using?
But it's like in a variety of different voices and in different languages that not even Raimi knows, but he understood them to be insults.
Okay.
Also just like shouting those out as well as he's doing it.
So you most likely hear a slew of curse in a variety of language. Some of them you've never heard Raimi talk in those languages, but you know he picks up things. So you probably hear something in Elven, one that you don't recognize, another one you don't recognize, and then you hear something in Dragonborn. Which audience, when you hear that, where did he hear that? I've only heard my father say this twice. And Fisher, you sort of, at one point, just look up and... Wow, it felt like I was on the sea again. I've heard people say that. Most likely orcs. Jorg, you even hear something that feels like an animal screaming.
Jeez.
Wow. Last time I heard that, there was an animal with a leg stuck in a trap. And then after maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, it eventually dies down. Then after 5 minutes, it starts again.
I'm gonna go check it out.
After you finish testing your lever, you go out and you find this ball of feather with... You know, he looks a little bit larger than usual. Like when you look at a bird in the beginning of winter, you know, they sort of seems like a little bit shorter and their body just seems to grow one size. It feels like that. And Remy, exactly what are you doing as Fisher goes out and wants to see this and realize that this is his shield that's in front of you?
A second. Let me see. Oh, no, particularly high one. Yeah, it's like so like in this exact moment, like it looks like Raimi just like is like holding steady for a moment, like really like squinting his eyes, and then goes in for another big hit on it, and then his body starts vibrating again.
You see him attack the shield with a natural 1.
Just gonna sit there and watch for a little bit.
Watch the show. That's interesting. Oh, that's a nice hit. That's not nice. After maybe 1 or 2 moments, you hear a voice right beside you, Fisher, that you didn't see was there. Just go, is there something you'd like to drink while you're watching this? That's interesting. It's Gentesh, who's just next to you.
No. Why are you looking for an excuse to go get something for yourself?
Well, if that's how you want to see it, that's alright. I won't mind.
Well, I figure you're smart enough to know I wouldn't need anything to drink.
I didn't say that you need anything, I said that you want anything.
Why would somebody want something if they don't need it?
Have you ever thought about why alcohol exists? That's right.
People not use it to forget things and or make themselves more likable.
Right. Keep rationalizing.
I'm genuinely curious. I haven't studied the topic a lot.
They don't take alcohol because they need it. They take it because they want it.
Noted.
So do you want anything?
No.
Okay.
This doesn't happen to have anything to do with your training, does it?
I didn't ask him to do that. If it's what you're asking. But it's always interesting. You learn a lot by looking at people vent out frustration. I'm guessing he's got emotional problems.
Doesn't everybody?
Right after
When they start out, at least.
you hear Remy scream something in a language you don't know, then usually you say that to a lover you hate. And that you say this to someone you want to kill. In intention, not in actual action.
It's kind of surprising the vocabulary he's been able to collect, given his rather short upbringing.
Well, that's what happened when you walk in the shadier part of society. You get to hear sailors, poachers, assassins, and those that don't really have name but everyone fears.
You have a lot of experience in that department? Around Estrin specifically?
Not specifically here. All over the place.
Ever heard of the Predator?
A few rumors, not a lot more. They've mostly been operating outside of the island. I've heard that they have a refueling island somewhere. One that's not on the map, just a small thing.
Any idea where it is?
It's outside of the commercial lane. Further to the west. Just before you fall into the currents between island chains. If you don't know what you're doing, apparently, you just end up in the currents, and if you don't have the right boat, then you end up fish food. Well, that is if you call a 50-foot sea snake fish.
Let me know if you do hear anything about it.
Right.
I'd be appreciated.
Alright, alright. That's interesting. That apple tastes awful. It's not ripe yet. You just toss it away, and I don't know. It's
And
interesting.
why'd you spend so much time on it? You're like halfway through that thing. Just now decided it wasn't ripe enough?
It's because I wanted it, but I didn't need it.
Nice callback.
Thanks. He slowly walks away. You might have to buff your
Amy's
shield
still
again.
going at it.
Most likely. Although he's probably starting to get tired.
I did roll off to the side during that conversation.
Okay.
Just to see if Raymond would get an idea from this, and he did.
Okay.
So he has actually calmed down significantly, but probably not for the best, as the couple times that he accidentally made his own body vibrate. He's going to try and see if he can make the shield do the same thing.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Okay.
So from there, it's like they're much more calm. They're much calmer strikes, not angry, but they are also very pointed.
So it goes from just a to a
But yes, so the audience is aware, he is imagining that that the woman is the target, which has.
Fisher, you start seeing those gashes appear in the shield. You know, you're gonna have to buff those out at the end of the evening.
I walk up behind Raimi. When I lent you that, I was not expecting to get it back quite so deformed. Which, honestly, props for the damage you've done, but at the same time, I use that every once in a while.
I guess Raimi, as you interrupt him, just stops, looks at you, looks at the shield, looks at the vibrating dagger that he was about to put into it, looks down, and looks really sad.
What's going on?
Just, guess the minor illusions, the woman that audience was talking to earlier.
So you see a half-elven woman with blonde hair just bundled up in a bun behind, well kept for an adventurer, wearing white armor and a long bow.
I walk over, pick up the shield.
He lets the mage hand let go of the shield. That's how he's been doing it the whole time.
And then take some stuff from my smith's tools in my backpack and start kind of buffing out the small stuff and sit down. Raimi, why don't you have a seat? I think we should talk. It's probably going to be more productive than what you're doing.
Oh, that's an interesting place to take the 10-minute break. Take a seat. We need to talk. Alright, so we're going to be back in 10 minutes. Mostly because I have a headache that's starting and I really need to go take something. So see you all back in 10
In there.
minutes. Bye. Aha, welcome back. Alright, so where were we? We had just done a full day of travel. We have learned that Remy has a lot of frustration inside of him, and Fisher has just learned that right after testing all of his weird stuff with his lever. So, we go back in as Remy sits in front of Fisher for a good talk. This is where we go back to.
Maybe as he's sitting down, just starts adjusting his feathers a bit. Realizing they're out of place.
Why does she make you so upset?
Raimi, Minor Illusions audience.
Is your thing about audience a romantic thing or like a hero worship thing?
How do you answer that?
Or is it just because he's shiny and you like shiny things?
Pick one.
Okay. Well, rolling something for introspection. The Raimi kind of like looks at Fisher, looks down at the ground again, looks back up at Fisher. And has maybe a kind of like a confused look on his face.
Okay. Do you not know?
A bit hesitantly, like Raimi kind of does a short nod.
Okay. Well, I guess in either case, you can't afford to get that upset about him giving his attention to somebody else. That's super. I mean, like, you really did a number on this shield.
It's only gonna take you maybe 30 minutes to buff this out. He hasn't gone through it, you know.
But for someone with 7 strength.
But it's like you maybe do get the feeling that he was probably working towards breaking through the shield with that last strike, because he felt like he was onto something. But
And for some reason, Fisher, there was something in that last attack that felt like it's something you could learn also.
I mean, I haven't known audience for a whole lot longer than you have, but this kind of stuff is gonna happen all the time. and
Yeah.
to be okay with
We're losing you,
You're-
Fisher.
That last one was a little too warforged.
Was it?
Yeah.
He's oh no, he muted it. Okay. Uh
I don't know if my
he having a little trouble. Hi. Where did it cut out?
You know, Remy.
Oh, okay. Shit, where was I? I said the thing about I haven't known audience much longer than he has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said that. We
Okay.
heard
you were
that.
saying.
And then, yeah, you get this thing's gonna happen all the time.
And right after that, it sort of felt like your battery was running low.
Okay. So after that, so if you can't figure out a way to be okay with that you're gonna have a really bad time, and you're either gonna do something that is going to make us have to do something about it, or I don't know, you might leave. And unless you're going to tell audience about whatever it is you feel, in which case, if it is just hero worship, you don't really have any right to claim his attention. If it is a romantic thing, I mean, shoot your shot if you want. I probably won't work, but what do I know about any of that stuff? So, and if you don't shoot your shot, you have no right to complain about it. And if you do and he turns you down, it's tough. You're gonna have to deal with it.
Okay, a bit higher on some introspection. Maybe kind of like closes his eyes and for a solid minute he doesn't say or do anything. He just seems to be thinking. And then he opens his eyes, maybe in just like a bit of realization. He opens up his hands and minor illusions the one drow that he has only ever shown you once. Or I guess twice.
That
Sorry, excuse me, Deshari.
The
Mhm.
Shariel.
That is the one that raised you, right? Or was around while you were growing up. Seems raised as a bit of a... would imply that he did any kind of service for you. Or it seems like he didn't.
And Raimi nods.
What about him?
And I think Raimi for this moment would take off his coat. and kind of just hug it closely to his chest. Like very tightly to his chest.
Hmm. Are you saying you miss him, or you didn't get any attention like that when you were younger, and so now you need it?
Uh-oh.
We can understand
Oh, no.
what you're saying, but the voice is extremely robotic.
Is my voice extremely robotic?
No, not at all.
Weird.
Maybe you should try and take off the image of your character behind you. Maybe it's on your computer that the load is too hard.
It shouldn't be it's probably an internet thing.
Okay.
But I don't know why, because we got new internet last week,
Okay.
and it's fiber.
Well, that's a bit what I was saying, because I know that you're in the same floor as Jorg. So if he's not having problem and you're having problem, it means it's your computer and not the internet.
I'm actually like the opposite corner of the house from the internet, so it's impressive that mine's not doing that.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. He is so much farther.
Well.
Oh.
So maybe
At
it's
any
your
rate.
computer who's having problem.
I don't see why it would, because it's a very decent computer, and I'm not actually doing anything right now.
All right. Well, right now your sound is good, so keep on talking.
We'll just switch to that, or just there we go. See if that's better.
All right.
Don't need Discord either. Okay. Literally nothing but Skype and my character sheet. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Where were we? Shit.
You were asking Remy if he meant that it's something he wanted to give to the person he was talking to about, or it's something that he never got from the person that he was talking of.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
Or I didn't hear an answer if there was one.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Raimi. But unfortunately, you still haven't learned this language. So he repeats a few phrases in a language you don't know, but then it switches to, "From this day forward, your name shall be Raimi." And then in like 20, 25 different voices, all of them saying, "Raimi, Raimi, 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 Raimi."
Mm-hmm.
And just hugs his coat tighter.
Fisher awkwardly lifts his stone hand up and kind of pats Rami on the back. I don't know much of anything about emotional intimacy and or I'm technically only 3 years old and a construct, so you should probably talk to audience about this, whatever it is, because honestly, I have a hard time understanding what it is you mean and what you would need, what would help you. But I'm here to help if I can figure out what it is you actually want. Because I know your whole thing doesn't make it super easy to understand, but that's what you've been dealt, and so you do a pretty good job even with it communicating, so that's on me to figure out how to better understand. But where I am now, I don't, and I'm sorry about that, but it seems like you should talk to somebody who can help you with it or understand.
In the sort of calmer, more wizened voice that you've heard on some occasions, Raimi says, I think you know what you have to do, Raimi. And he stands up, puts his coat back on, and he starts walking over to the stables.
Right. So you walk over to the stable. Of course.
As he
yeah.
stands up and starts leaving, I'll just ask, do you want backup, or would you rather do it on your own?
So Raimi shakes his head and points a talon to himself.
All right. Then I will stay where I'm seated and finish buffing out this shield.
Raimi looks at you really guiltily. And actually, you know what? You'll see a stack of 10 golden coins flying toward you and then falling into your hand. And then he starts making his way to the stable.
All right. So you make your way to the stable, and just to help you, there's a little bit of rain that's starting to fall, very gentle, almost like a mist. But as you arrive at the barn, you open the door and you see that there's quite a lot of people that have started to gather there. A lot of them are finishing whatever they were eating. They were starting to bed down. You see audience in one corner, sitting most likely right in front of Corinth. Even hear a bit of the conversation from where you are. So you see, you always have to be careful about your surrounding. Like right now, there's rain. Someone could take advantage of that. When you're fighting, this is why it's important to learn how to fight without using your eyes or maybe even forcing a handicap. You can't rely on your hearing. And the water is going to affect your ability to smell someone. I think someone wants to talk with you. Either that or there's something really fascinating because he's staring.
Audience will look around. Does he notice Remy?
Make a perception roll.
The age-old question,
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
which
say
the
like
answer is almost always no.
I was gonna say his audience. I don't know if he does notice. Perception.
It's just, you could surprise us, but most likely not.
Wow. 11.
It takes a moment. Because Remy is not trying to be stealthy. He has resolve in his mind. But he is very light-footed. So it takes a moment where you're who's... Oh, alright, okay. So it takes a moment, and maybe Remy's maybe 50 feet away from you when you sort of realize, oh, okay, that's probably him.
I'll wave at Remy.
Maybe what kind of awkwardly wave to?
What do you want, Remy?
Yeah, kind of looks down a little bit, so moving his feet and points to you, and then points to himself.
Do you want help with something?
Maybe points to his beak.
Speak. You want to talk about something? I get that. Do you want to do it privately? Is that way?
Raimi nods.
Alright. I'll turn to Corinth. I'll be back in a bit.
Don't worry, and I'll keep your meal as warm as the sweater can, so don't worry about it.
Alright. I'll get up. I guess I'll follow Remy wherever he leads me.
Where do you lead audience?
I guess, what would be the closest he could get to a private location?
Okay, so most likely,
Could just take me outside.
yeah, that's the obvious choice. You know that not everyone's in here, and all of the room are taken, so there are other adventures outside. There are most likely places where you can even see some of them bedding down outside, and with this mist coming in, this gentle rain sort of mist, you'd be alone near any structure. Or you can just look in the field, see, okay, there's a lone tree over there. Is there a lone tree? 17. Yeah, there's a lone tree over there. There's always that. And you see Jorg disappearing behind a curtain of mist.
Jorg's so out of the loop right now.
It's just like, that's weird.
Right now he's in a bubble, eating with Sarn and Nia. So there's always that. Inside of this of the stable, there's often a second floor where usually it's hay that's placed there. So there's a chance that there's not going to be a lot of people. But if you think that it's going to go the way of screaming or talking very loudly, then people on the first floor will hear you. So you have a few choices. You can just get lost in the small part of the city that's there, village. Probably some empty carts with a roof over it. That can be away from everyone. Or like I said, apparently the dice decided that there's a lone tree outside of the village.
Yeah, I think Raimi would choose the tree.
Okay.
All right. I will follow Remy out to the tree then.
So it takes maybe a minute and a half. Fisher, you see Remy walking away with audience toward the lone tree over there. You have a feeling that, oh, that's not gonna help Remy because that mist is starting to make audience glisten a little bit also. Okay.
I doubt Fisher would think that. I don't think Fisher notices whether I glisten.
Well, he knows that there is a problem with Remy and shiny things, so he's gonna be slightly distracted. So
He'll figure it out. I believe in him.
all right, so like I said, it's only maybe a minute and a half of walk, and you get to this tree. It's large enough to cover two person. It's not a 200-year-old oak, but it's maybe a 50-year-old maple or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so Raimi kind of it's like a yeah, as he's like leading to the tree and just kind of like looks at audience. He takes a deep breath and he minor illusions a feather.
Yeah, it is.
You would know it's
probably
one of
not
his
gonna-
feathers.
Knows it's one of his feathers. I'd be like, yes. What about one of your feathers, Remy?
So Raimi points to audience.
I'm gonna roll. So I think I'll probably remember. Just that DC pretty low. Audience does not remember. I set the DC literally at 7 for that. Still rolled under it for my intelligence roll.
So it takes a moment, Remy, but you see in audience's eyes that he is audience.
Yeah, audience does not remember the feather.
Just yeah, like maybe Raimi realizing this, maybe to help jog the memory, he kind of once again like takes one of his talons and puts it near a point, and then plucks another feather.
Alright, now DC's literally at 2, as long as I don't roll a 1. Okay, we're good. Audience is gonna remember the feather. He's gonna reach into his bag, he's gonna pull out the feather. Oh, do you mean this feather?
Raimi nods.
Yes, what about it? Do you want it back?
Raimi looks at that for a second, but then remembering that your audience, just Raimi's going to say, you hear in a woman's voice like, "Oh, Raimi, you don't know what that means."
No, I don't know what it means.
It's, yeah, just like Raimi nods and he points to the feather, and then he points to the left side of his chest.
The feather is from your heart? That's what audience would get from that. He does.
So Raimi nods.
All right. See, audience did already kind of know Remy liked him from before because of other things. So that wouldn't be. Let's see. 1 second. Oh my god, why am I rolling so bad? That's a 2. Alright, audience is not going to be kind to Remy. I guess is going to let him struggle. So she explained. So, are you saying that we're like good friends? Or, you know, from your heart? I mean, what are you trying to say, Remy?
Just once again realizing he's dealing with audience. Raimi is going
And
to
we're just sitting there going, what did I see in this guy?
Shiny.
Yep.
Beautiful shiny scales.
It's a classic case
Service
of
level,
the
son.
dying inside Reddit, you know.
Raimi is going to. Actually, yeah. Raimi is going to minor illusion, like Amyali.
Yes, that's Ollie. Ollie. What about her?
It's like Raimi points to, the left side of audience's chest, and points to Amyali.
Audience looks kind of embarrassed, and it's like, yes, you are right. I do have a bit of a crush on me, Ollie.
Then Raimi is going to point to his left chest again, and then point at you.
Okay, I literally need to not roll a 1. Just don't make me roll a 1.
Do it.
Please, game.
Do it. Do it.
Please, game. Please. Oh, we're good. A 5 will work.
Ouch.
It's just a really slow realization.
You see,
When the person's literally too dumb to understand what you're trying to tell them that you love.
you see that there's a moment in the audience's eyes where the gears are turning really hard. And then there's this moment of,
Oh, there's like a good 10-second pause probably with a 5 on the roll of audience trying to process. Audience is like, let me work through this. I got this. Oh, okay. Audience, he's like, oh, are you saying you have a crush on me, Remy?
Raimi kind of bashfully nods.
Alright. Audience kind of takes a deep breath. It's like, you know, ooh, this is gonna sound so bad, but it's the classic. It's like the classic of.
well,
so
long as you
like,
don't open your mouth and roast him, that's all right.
No, I'm not gonna roast it, but it's gonna be the kind of like, because it's true, but it's gonna just be the kind of like very classic. It's gonna be like, you know, Remy, I think of you as, you know, a great friend, someone I can always count on. You know, we've been through a lot together. You were my first true follower of the religion, accepted the dragons, and you know, I love adventuring with you, and our time together is great. I always enjoy it, but you know, I don't think of you that way. I don't think of you romantically. It's not. I don't think of any guy romantically. It's just not who I am. So I'm sorry. I don't feel the same way.
Raimi takes a few moments to take that response in. Takes a bit of a deep breath and It's like there are like a few tears, but like he kind of like wipes it from his face with his sleeve and just just like just a small nod as if in understanding.
Audience, looking very awkward, but also trying to be understanding, is just like, I hope this doesn't change things between us, because I really do count on you as both in combat and adventuring and in everything else. You're one of the first people I turn to whenever I need help or need something. I honestly have found you, I think, more reliable than any of our other party members. So I hope this doesn't change anything, and I hope we can move on from this.
I hope we can still be friends.
I was trying not to go to the cliche.
Maybe mentally, because like you can't obviously see this, but he's kind of like replaying a moment in his own mind before he gives a response. And you personally, audience, have only heard this voice a few times, but again, that more common, like wiser voice says, Raimi, you are and always will be one of my treasured friends.
Audience will be like, and you will always be one of mine. And then he goes, is it okay if I hug you?
Raimi nods.
All right. Audience will hug Remy.
Just leans into the hug for a moment. You probably get the impression he's not going to be the one to end the hug. So basically, it goes on.
It'll be a long. I know it'll be a good 5-10 second hug. It'll be a long hug, and then audience will break out. Be like, well, we should both still get some sleep. We got a busy day tomorrow, heading into dangerous start. Now that we're reaching the mountain, starting to head into dangerous territory. We need to have our wits about us.
Raimi will nod, and in your voice, and also with minor illusion, the very familiar symbol, and in your voice, for the dragon.
For the dragon. And then audience will head back towards the barn.
Okay. Well, just to go with the mood, the rain has picked up while you were all talking. So,
I imagine that this entire talk was just the rain was slowly streaking down our faces.
Well, I just rolled, and the rain picked up quite a lot. So it's no longer just a mist, but really now a real rain falling. It's not a torrential downpour, but. Well, in Remy's memory, it probably is, but it's actually just a good rain.
I remembered it like it was yesterday. It was raining that day.
All right, so audience goes back to the stable where Corinth is waiting for him while trying to keep his bowl warm. His bowl of mushy things. Remy, you are outside in the rain, pondering this.
Yeah, taking enough moments to process it. He does, since he was the one who pushed him to do what needed to be done, Raimi goes to see if Fisher has not removed himself from his his location on the ground.
Well, the conversation did last 20 minutes, so it's probably you're catching him just as he's watching the result of the shield. Yeah, it's good, it's good. I think I can use this again.
So just Rainy walks up on you, Fisher. Maybe your passive perception is paying enough attention. Or maybe not.
Well, if you're not trying to hide and everything, so I know that the passive stealth is a weird thing to think about, but
What's up, Raimi? How'd it go?
Raimi kind of just like looks down at the ground dejectedly.
you're not sure if he's
Is
crying or
that
if it's just the rain.
not great, or is that you didn't tell him?
He repeats in your voice, not great.
Well, yeah, that's rough, I guess. Like I said, I'm not great at this, but you know, at least now you can move on, right? Or at least attempt to.
So Raimi kind of like puts his talon hand up to his chest, and you kind of hear a broken glass sound, but he does nod.
Is that like a special kind of salute or something?
Raimi just looks at Fisher, looks like he's about to say something, thinks better of it, and starts walking toward the inn.
See you in the morning.
What is Terranad's commentary? I feel like he has opinions.
Oh yeah, I'm just trying not to always make him talk, because if we just keep going, Fisher and I are going to be taking half
I'm
of
gonna
the space.
end up punching him through Skype.
No, but most likely the first comment that comes into hand is, well, I don't know if you're intelligent, but you're not emotionally intelligent. That we have a confirmation of.
Yeah, well, good observation there, bud. That's what I told him earlier, isn't it? Fortunately, sentience comes with some amount of self-awareness.
Yeah. So you really didn't pick that up. A glass breaking and him pointing to his art. That's a salute. That's a bird salute. You have heard the expression breaking someone's heart before, right? Oh.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
To be fair, I've seen the fist across the chest used as a salute a lot more than I've heard that phrase.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
remember my
have you
background.
ever seen it used after the sound of breaking glass?
No, but you know,
Maybe that one time at the bar.
yeah.
And it was accompanied by the very rude gesture at the end of the fingers, you know.
It's the salute that every sailor knows.
Yeah. So good job.
Oh, thanks. It means so much coming from you.
I know.
I'd be a lot more receptive to your advice if you weren't such a dick about it.
Hey, you've just proven that you're an even worse dick than I am.
What?
You
How?
just said to someone who has had his heart broken, is that a bird salute?
I did not say bird salute. Asked if that was some kind of salute. I know better than to use the word bird when I'm talking to Raimi.
And you really think that that's a whole lot better for him?
Huh?
Yeah.
It's not. That's just being ignorant more than. You're purposefully a dick. I can be dumb sometimes. There's a difference.
Oh, I agree completely. You are ignorant. Come on, you're starting to speak really slowly. Maybe you need a little bit of rest. Just let me take over tonight. Go back into the weird realm of the druid.
I call it my mind palace.
I don't know. I kind of like this view.
I know, you've
Once
been
I'm
staring
done,
at the shield for 5 minutes now.
just making sure it's properly buffed out.
Yeah.
And then once I'm done, I'm gonna set it down and just kind of do my sentry rest, staring out into the field.
Right in the middle of the town square,
Yep.
looking outward. That's not creepy at all.
Nope. What are you talking about?
George, for some reason, you just stepped out of the shelter of the Sarn's protection. Just for, I don't know, you went out to pee, and suddenly you start peeing out, and you turn around and you see Fisher just staring at you.
Just see two red eyes in the darkness.
Oh, God.
With the rain pouring down, and
I'm mid pee, just staring back at him. You good there?
How far away is he?
most likely at least 100 feet away. So it's more
Nope.
you good there?
I don't think my 8 perception check picks him up.
So for some reason, he just keeps staring at you.
All I'm seeing is rain.
I'll head towards him, zipping up first, of course.
Remember to not put Fisher on guard duty again.
Yeah, really.
It takes a moment, and you realize that hey, someone's coming. Oh goodness!
What you doing out here?
Taking my sentry rest.
Oh,
Also, childishly being a dick to Terranad. What's up with you?
not much. I was just getting to sleep. What's Turner doing?
Oh,
Yeah.
being a dick.
Yeah.
You know a lot.
He-
You know a lot of like really smart people.
Um, I suppose maybe wise is a better term.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
Like, really, like snarky smart.
Ooh. Yeah. That's I assume what you're dealing with.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Ooh.
you can be
I
super
nicknamed
annoying
him Tony Snark.
sometimes.
Yeah, I heard your outburst earlier. Does not
Yeah,
sound very fun to have an inner dialogue like that.
yeah. You'd think like it'd be kind of nice having a being smarter than you that could talk in your head, because then, if you do something stupid, it'd be like, hey, look, you can do it this way. This is how, you know, this is what's right. This is the better way. Here, look, I'm being helpful. Instead of just, wow, you suck.
That's not very smart advice.
Yeah, no,
These
doesn't do advice a lot.
no.
He really likes answering my questions with more questions also, which is super annoying.
That does sound really annoying.
George, that is
Not very
something.
productive.
That is something
But
you're used to. It's usually how
Yeah.
masters answers
That-
pupil with more questions. That is something
Aw.
you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Especially as a
I
cleric slash druid.
Yeah.
I did deal with that, although in most cases it's to make us teach ourselves the answer. I don't know how useful it is in a bad situation.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like that is better suited when you can walk away from the teacher and then go like figure out the answer. But my situation is more like if they just kept walking around looking over your shoulder, just like silently or not silently judging you while you try and figure it out.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
And I assume you can't turn them off.
Not that other than taking him out, which I've done once or twice, but it takes a long time to do. And
Yeah. I didn't know you could take him out.
yeah, well, I guess you've never. You know how I switch armor?
Oh
You see me
yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Small amount of control over my, or at least the exterior of my body.
That's pretty
but
cool.
yeah. But the other funny thing is sometimes when I sleep, I go to this weird subconscious room, and his subconscious is in there, and it's a lot nicer than he is. So that helps me put up with him. And then also the fact that he's a really old, extremely powerful artifact
Yeah.
that was somehow sent to me. Don't feel like I can pass up on that.
Is his snarky teachings are a small price to pay for
Yeah.
benefits.
Yep.
That's a tough.
I can deal with them being annoying if, he saves my life or helps me save someone else's.
Yeah, that's good.
How annoying is it to only hear one side of the arguments?
I don't know. I get used to it. I mean, I've never not experienced that, so I am used to it.
Uh-huh.
But it is possible to entertain both sides of an argument without fully believing either of them.
That wasn't exactly the direction I was going, but I get, yeah.
You're talking like literally arguing with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound.
There were a couple of the other adventures inside the inn earlier that made sure to make me aware of the fact that normally when people talk to themselves, they're crazy.
Ah.
Especially with the way I can talk to Terranad sometimes.
Fisher, you hear from inside of you in a satisfied voice that you're not used of hearing from Terranad. Well, priests do talk a lot to themselves in the morning. They say that they talk to gods.
They pray, that's different.
That's the only thing you hear, Jorg.
I assume there was something about people talking to themselves when praying, and I suppose
Yes.
you are
Terranad.
not praying to Terranad.
Yeah, he was making the connection that he was a god, and
I see.
that I would be praying to him, which is rather lame attempt at an ego boost, or a relatively bad joke.
And some people just shout to the sky, "Witness me!"
For some reason, you have a voice in your mind that reminds you hear Audion saying, "For the dragons!" as he smites a creature.
Oh, Terranad learned how to access your memory files and play them at will.
Freaking song won't get out of my head.
Oh god, that's the worst power. Terranad just being able to do like, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do do.
I think the craziness happens when they talk back.
Yeah.
I talk to Frel sometimes, but he's a dog, and unless I cast speak with animals, I won't know what he's saying.
Which you've never done before.
Which I have not done before. Have
Sorry, out of character real quick.
Yeah.
Don't Circle of Shepherd Druids have, like, innate speak with animals? Isn't that like a subclass feature? Where you just, like, always have speak with animals active?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
I mean, it's either Shepherd or, ironically, it might have been the
Is it Moon Druid?
the nature domain. It's one of those two. I know in the previous version, he had it auto
you
prepared.
learn to speak, read, and write Sylvan. In addition, beasts can understand your speech, and you gain the ability to decipher their noise and motions. Most beasts lack the intelligence to convey, understand sophisticated concept. So basically, you're an expert at interpreting the body language of an animal. But
You know when the
really,
dog is hungry, but the dog doesn't say, "I'm hungry."
but really talking, no, that's not it. But you can just look outside, see a bird, and immediately say, "Oh, he's looking for a mate." He's haven't even sang. No, but it's clear, you know. Look, he's facing that direction, and there's. For you, it's obvious.
Sorry. Tangent.
That's all right. That's all right.
Maybe I will go to the garden and see if they can. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll just work with Terranad, see if I can talk to him in my head instead of just out loud.
Yeah. Maybe they can make a quick disconnect, and all you have to do is like pull something and it disconnects him for a little, and then you have to, without
put him
taking him out of your body,
Put him in timeout.
just dislodging him. Yeah. If you're getting annoyed,
That'd be pretty nice.
but the gnomes could do something like that.
No. Not letting the gnomes anywhere near me. They make some cool stuff, but they also make some.
Yeah. That
they don't
that
know what they make.
switch lever, I feel like, is a pretty dangerous tool in the wrong circumstances.
Did you see what it did in the? You weren't in the stables earlier, were you?
No, I was in.
It can put it on the door, and it locked all the doors and windows, or closed them, and then magically locked them. So that was kind of cool.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's gonna be handy.
And then one of the other things may or may not have lit a fire.
Ooh,
So,
that is handy, but can be dangerous.
mhm. Also, you can still do that ice projectile thing you used on the golem, right?
I think it depends. Oh yeah, I can use that.
Okay, because because of some of the training I went through with the other Eldritch Knight, I can't shoot the ice orb anymore, meaning I can't set off this weird clay stuff that we got from the gnomes. So I believe that means you will be the only one that can currently activate it. So
Well, I will be sure to prepare it tonight.
we'll have to test that out at some point. Should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to it. As long as we're not actively seeking a fight. If something comes up,
Well,
and we have to
I mean,
fight it,
I figure
then,
we'll
cool.
test it out first,
Oh, that's
in a
also
field or something,
good. Yeah.
because life or death situation probably isn't the best time to be throwing out new things.
Yeah, that is a good point. Maybe tomorrow morning when I go, I was thinking of asking to go hunting with the gnomish lady. I forgot her name.
Nia Luca.
Yeah. I'm going to write that down in my memory.
She showed up at the garden the same time audience and I did when we first got there.
Oh, yeah. She seems cool.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't. No offense, nature magic is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a bit iffy on gnomes.
But I guess
They seem cool. They're kind of strange, though.
they are a little
I mean, have you
strange.
seen Sarn do his, like, weird fate string thing?
Yes. That was something I'd like to learn. Perhaps I will be a very tall gnome someday.
Does that mean you had one?
Yeah.
Hey, I think that's good.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't really
not
know
everyone
because I
have
don't
one?
know anything about anything he does.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very cryptic.
You should probably get back to sleep.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of late.
Yeah, what you are out pretty late. Is there any reason for that?
Oh, Rami was taking his anger out on this shield here. So after he gave it back, I was buffing it out. And then Taryn had said something about going to sleep and letting him take over, so I decided to not do that.
Okay, my computer is.
Did you just like blue screen or something? Because your face is all blue.
Yeah, we're stuck with an image of you with a blue face. I think
blue screen.
I think his computer died. I think it's an indication that the stream is overdue and we need to finish it really soon.
It's
All right. So, as the conversation ends... Ah, you're back.
I'm back. I think it's probably this mic now.
Your face went blue and you disappeared.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, that sounds like an interesting place to
Jorg had a stroke, died, gotta roll up a new character.
to wind down the stream. So as you finish your conversation and the evening starts getting more and more wet because it's raining a lot, it's raining just more and more. Jorg, you go back to Sarn, which when you enter back the fairy ring, you sort of realize that, oh yeah, Fisher said he was a gnome, and he's not a gnome. So...
Oh, right, he's a Shroon.
Yeah.
So
So you get
they're
back
the same height.
roughly. Well,
Really bad.
according to the mythology, Sharoons are supposed to be related to halflings, but gnomes and halflings have a very similar height. So you go back in, and as the moment you enter back into the space, the rain stops. You notice that Rock is outside, just slowly orbiting the fairy ring that he created. Fisher, you go back to your sentry rest, looking like a scarecrow in the middle of a storm. No lightning, don't worry.
I'm sitting down.
Remy, after this hard evening, very emotional, very stressful in many ways, I would imagine you go back to your unpaid room.
Yeah. Just like eventually figures out which door goes to the key that he took.
Takes a moment, but no. Yeah. Oh. This one's not locked. Oh, no, I shouldn't go there. Alright, so you find your room. Audience, eventually, after a good long conversation with Corinth. Do you share anything of this conversation with Corinth? Corinth, sorry.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So, when you come back, it's probably just a, so, how'd it go? And you stay silent for a moment. Oh, that's good, huh? Go on, let's finish with your eating. I finished mine, I hope you didn't mind.
Yeah.
So you go to bed, and the night goes really well. No problem. Absolutely no problem. It even is a very nice day when you wake up. You spend your night, everything is fine, you wake up, it's no longer raining, there's not even a single cloud in the sky when you wake up in the morning. You go through your routine. If you want to do something in the morning, we'll end the stream there and we'll do it next time. If not, I'm just gonna keep on narrating to the end of the stream. Was there something you wanted to do as you woke up the next day?
I don't think so, no.
Remy?
I think the most that you air quote do is just as he just wakes up, remembering last night, maybe taking a bit longer to to start the day, but but he eventually does come out and with a supposed fresh face.
But on closer investigation, you realize, oh, it's a minor illusion. So it takes just a little bit more time than usual. Remy is not his early bird self. Takes a little bit more time, but eventually everyone gathers up and the group keeps on walking for another half day. And it's a very nice half day as you're walking. The sky is completely blue. It's still fairly windy. The temperature is nice, but feels like it's a bit more of humidity, but it's a nice balance, And right as the half of the next day arrives, you find yourself in front of the mountain range. You see the mountains are going in a rather steep fashion, right as you're arriving in front of this path that just keeps on going inside. It's a rather sudden transition. It's not just, it's a bit more hills and then suddenly it goes up and up. No, you just arrive at this and it feels like, okay, that's a high mountain. But there is a path going from where you are. It snakes into the mountains. And this is where you hear Kithan go, well, this is exactly where we're going to have to separate the group in two. There's those of you who are supposed to go to the other side of the mountain. Reconvene with those who are making sure that our target isn't escaping through the back door. I believe Corinth and Neisa and Sarn, I believe Kudown and Kazan were also taking this way. You hear Sarn just go, I'll take most of the group, don't worry about it. You hear Corinth go, we'll take the air. Make sure that they don't try something funny. He turns toward Neisa and, come on, it's been a while. They turn around and, audience, you recognize what they're doing as the better version of the spell that you've been waiting to use. And they turn around and they both cast Find Greater Steed. Neisa, the Elven Bard, you see a Pegasus appearing right in front of everyone. She gets up on the Pegasus. Right, let's make sure that everything goes well in the air. And you see Corinth casting his steed, and you see a very regal-looking griffin just appearing from the sky and just land energetically, just... Alright, it's been a while. Gets on his steed. I'm pretty sure I can take someone else if you want to come. You see Nia go, I'll go. I've never tried this before. Come on, get up. Sarn goes, alright, everyone else will travel with me. There's a tree over there. We're gonna use this. So you see Sarn and most of the high-level characters, essentially, leaving with Sarn, and you see Corinth and Neisa leave, one on her Pegasus and the other one on his Griffin. Just take.
Audience will lean over to Jorg as they find mate. There's definitely some joke here about the day turtles flew.
And you see them take off. You see Sarn arriving next to the tree, and then touching it, opening up, and everyone just walks in and he closes it. And so you find yourself with most of the unseasoned adventurers of the garden. But amongst yourself, you have Kathan, of course. You recognize Bertrand, who is there also. You recognize the Sierraf is also coming in the same direction as you. You recognize Longshot coming your way also. And Kaln also is coming, the one who has the strange contraption on his side. Alright, well, we still have a days of walk in the mountain before we reach our final village before the dangerous part starts. So, let's get going.
So, before we do that, because
Yep.
just making sure, it's like we are leading into like a more mountainous terrain
Yes.
after this point, correct?
Yes.
All right. So Raimi takes the minute to take out the elemental seedling and plant it into the soil, the last bit of soil they're going to be seeing for a while.
A
So it takes...
smart choice, smart choice.
Not allowed. Can't do that before combat.
Alright.
To do it after at least the first combat.
I have committed a campaign taboo, everybody.
So you plant the seed, and after a minute, Orunak comes out and... Alright. Time has passed for you.
Yeah, you died last time you were here.
I know, I hate it when it happens.
Just casually brushing off death.
Fortunately, it's like a lot of elemental creatures. If you kill them and they're out of their element, most of them can actually just reform in their own element. So I've been chilling with my friends. Well, they say I'm friend, but I'm really... anyway, that's not none of your concern. Alright, the fight is over.
Information certainly helps with any moral quandaries might have in the future.
Jesus Christ.
No, Raimi is going to be the not asshole and just like pat him on the what would be the kind of equivalent of shoulder, like a friendly pat and understand.
Not with you, but like if we have to fight other elementals, you know.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Right. Because you've never made those comments before. Alright. So, I guess this is a new challenge now. What are we doing?
Yeah. We're taking on the Hunter Gods in Outpost.
Right! Gods already? Wow.
Well, followers.
Followers of the God.
Okay.
Hopefully. Hopefully just followers.
I just want to imagine like Olnak just like looking down, so it's like, you don't look like a level 20 party.
Yeah. Hopefully, if the god does show up, he'll focus on the other guys.
Audience knocks on wood by knocking on his body.
Yeah.
Hopefully just
Yeah, like no one's ever done that before. Alright, so let's go. Anyone who has a faster method of transportation? You know, it's my legs are kind of short compared to a lot of yours. No? Okay.
Audience thinks yes, but also no.
Yes, but I want to ride it, so no.
He has a moment of
Yes.
no.
Raimi does have an idea. Raimi, minor illusions, audience's crystal.
Don't trees need to breathe?
I think they need sunlight or something.
I mean, that's might be a little.
And like maybe immediately minor illusions a question mark and looks at Olnek because he doesn't know how he works, so he's asking basically.
We have a interdimensional room that you could sit in while we travel, but that seems like a worse time than just not summoning you. So.
And there's no air.
Right. I would see him making that mistake, and he points toward Fisher when he says that. But yeah, have you ever seen a tree float between worlds?
No. I don't know. I've only been between worlds once.
I'm pretty
see
sure
any
there weren't
trees.
any trees in there.
And that's why Raimi specifically minor illusions a question mark.
However, Fisher, if you ever just want to, take a break from walking, could stick you in there.
I don't really need.
See?
My legs don't get tired.
But think about the surprise factor. Like, oh, they're just a party of 3, and then boom, robot with a sword.
I think it would be boom, big extra dimensional door opens up. But sure.
Alright, then let's stick him inside, and I'm gonna walk with all of you.
But seeing how often we forgot to, no offense, you specifically forgot to summon this one, I'd rather not be stuck in there when you forget to let me out.
Just forgetting that Fisher is in there.
Fisher
Fisher's on
just
there.
not in the campaign for 5 episodes. Oh, we were gonna let him out of the orb.
So now we know
I
what
think
to
I'm
do.
good out here.
So now we know what to do if you ever have to take a 2-episode break. Oh, we forgot him inside the space. That's gonna be a handful to roleplay when you come back.
I mean, like we've almost explained everybody. If I'm not here, Ramus was just rolled really high on their stealth roll.
Nobody noticed him for 2 days.
Fisher's not here. Oh, we threw him in dimensional storage. I forgot to let him out.
All right. So with this odd conversation, everyone starts moving in, and you are entering the mountainous region to the west of the Eastern Island, a large island. Maybe I should try and one day post this so that people can actually see the map that you're seeing. Not tonight, because I have to load it in OBS, but maybe next time so you get an idea of how big this region can be. All right, so you all
Big enough
enter.
to get lost in?
Yeah, well, fortunately there's a path where you're going, but
Hey.
so you all enter in with a few members of the gardens. And oh wow, elemental tree walking among us. Yeah, that's special. You get one that just looks at you and well, I have an elemental friend also. And he just takes a small bottle and you see this little wisp of light just going. It's mine. I'm not letting you play with it.
We don't play with Oranak because he's not like a pet. He's a being that helps us.
It's still mine.
Okay. Good for you. Audience will give a thumbs up.
It was a human, you know. Sometimes they're weird. Alright, so you enter this mountain as this stream end for tonight. You have the fade out as everyone starts this adventure inside of the mountains. You're, just so that you know, you're about half day, maybe just a bit before noon when this happens. So, this is where we end the stream for tonight, and we are an hour over our time. So sorry. Fortunately, audience is not in school right now, so...
Yeah. So it's not 2:30 in the morning?
Well, it is for me.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Well, it's for me, but that literally means nothing to me.
All right, so thank you all for watching. I hope you had a pleasant evening. I hope no one unsubscribed, because I'm going to cry if they do, because I really want you to activate the subscription. But if you did, hey, I will blame it on you for a while, but not for always. So see you all next Wednesday. Like I said, I hope you had a pleasant evening. If not, well, we're going to try and do better next time, but it's still just going to be Dungeons & Dragons. So, if you enjoyed the show, as always, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also make a donation, which is very appreciated, especially since every time I make a music, it's not free. I have to pay for it. So, you can also become a Patreon, which I would appreciate a whole lot. Or you can just spread the word about this channel. That always works. The more people there are, the better it is. And if you know someone who lives on the East Coast and wants to maybe watch a rerun that would be more in his time frame, talk to him about this. It's either going to be as soon as this episode or the next one. Just watch for the Twitter announcement. I'm probably going to announce it the week that it's going to happen, but it's most likely either going to be this week or next one that I'm gonna start with this. So until then, see you all next Wednesday. As always, stay safe, and especially in this weird time right now, stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.